In this video, we will talk about COVID-19 vaccination and all the important things you need to note while setting up a vaccination site. The vaccine will be administered at vaccination session sites that have already been identified and will be shared with vaccination teams in advance. Medical officer in charge and supervisors will ensure that the session site has a minimum risk of COVID-19 transmission. The cold chain point in charge will send 3 hard copies of list of beneficiaries and other logistics due for vaccination on that particular day with the vaccine carriers. This list will be shared with Vaccinator Officer, Vaccination Officer 2 and Vaccination Officer 1. As you can see, the vaccination session site looks almost like an election booth. There will be a number of staff here who will be responsible for different activities like checking eligibility of people who are getting vaccinated, managing the crowd on site, verifying the beneficiaries, vaccinator officer for administering COVID-19 vaccine, mobilizing beneficiaries and providing any other support. There are a number of probable sites that may be considered for vaccination, including hospitals or PHCs, schools, Panchayat Ghar, Barat Ghar, community halls, town halls, places where sufficient space is available. You may also have to plan for temporary shelters with tents, etc., if needed to maintain social distancing and adequate area for conducting the sequential activities. The ideal vaccination session site layout will look like this. If possible, there should be a separate entry and exit for the vaccination booth. Every vaccination session site should have 3 rooms or areas. First will be designated as waiting room, where beneficiaries will wait for their turn to get vaccinated. Second will be used as the vaccination room, where vaccination will happen. And the third will be the observation room, where beneficiaries will wait for half hour after getting vaccinated. All these rooms should ideally have 2 doors, one each for entry and exit. The beneficiaries should not crisscross their paths. This can be ensured by making arrow marks or footsteps for direction of movement, along with circles 2 gaz or 6 feet apart, so that people maintain physical distance at all times. Similarly, these rooms need to be well ventilated with open windows and natural ventilation. You should also make sure there is hand washing facility at the entrance. Proper seating arrangement at 2 gaz or 6 feet apart, following the COVID-appropriate behaviors for both the vaccinator officers as well as beneficiaries in the waiting room as well as observation room. Only one beneficiary at one time should be allowed in the vaccination room. Enough communication materials should be displayed to inform people about COVID-appropriate behaviors. Come, let us see what all you need to set up the room where vaccination will take place. Apart from proper seating for the vaccinator officers, please make sure following items are available in the vaccination room. Vaccine carrier with 4 conditioned ice packs and adequate COVID-19 vaccine vials for the expected number of beneficiaries who will be immunized. Additional vaccine carrier with 4 conditioned ice packs, adequate number of appropriate syringes and needles, hand sanitizer and masks for vaccination team, small screwdriver or vial opener to remove aluminium seals of vaccine vials, hub cutter, anaphylaxis kit, red and yellow bags and 1 bag for collecting municipal waste, blue puncture-proof container, waste disposal basket. Please note, it is important to limit the number of people allowed inside the vaccination session site. To avoid crowded waiting rooms, you should allow only beneficiaries who have been scheduled for vaccination for the day for vaccination. Use outdoor spaces if possible. Adhere to physical distancing at the healthcare facility or vaccination site. If the session is being conducted at a health center, the vaccination room should be set up away from the areas where curative services are being provided. To summarize, these are the things a vaccination site should have: adequate sitting area, if possible, accessible to people with special needs, water, hand sanitizer or hand wash facilities, proper logistics needed for vaccination process, toilet facilities. Only by following all these important steps and guidelines, we can make sure that these vaccination session sites run smoothly and protect both the vaccinators and beneficiaries from the risk of COVID-19 infection.